What's going on? It's SFT back again. We're talking about this damn Super Bowl, man. Let's go! I'm making a video on this late, sadly, because I had some work to do this week, but what matters, the Super Bowl came to an end. Eagles getting an emphatic win, putting together a interesting season, to say the least. This is a very Eagle season, coming off of last year, seeing how they broke down, and then this year, seeing how they were just, hovering above good to great team around there, and then showing the last two games of the season going into the playoffs, right? The championship game and the finals in the Super Bowl, what they are. Elite. But before getting into this video, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Like the damn video, and let's get into it. We're going to start off with the Eagles, man, winning the Super Bowl 40-22. If you were to ask me at the start of the season, do I think the Eagles could win? I'd say no. I think the Eagles can get to the NFC Championship. I think they could represent the NFC. But I just want to see how they're going to bounce back from a disastrous end of a season last year. We're talking about losing to the Cardinals, losing to the Giants, losing in embarrassing fashion to the Buccaneers, looking inept on offense, defensively looking extremely weak, struggling to do the basics of tackling, generating pressure last year was a big problem for them. You have to understand that. Like, you look at the Super Bowl, right, and you think to yourself, man, this defense is elite. But last year, I was not thinking the same thing towards the second half. But then coming into this year, obviously, you start off 2-2, questionable loss in terms of, you lose that game against, I believe, Tampa Bay, but you had both your star wide receivers out, and defensively, you just looked inept again, like a really poor defensive game again. And I'm thinking to myself, at least at the beginning of the season, is this a continuation from a disastrous start from last year? Disappointing overall performance against the Saints offensively, right? But we're talking about a team building and showing character at midseason, man. Getting huge wins in Baltimore, beating up on the Steelers, winning against Dallas and against Washington on a major Thursday night game. I think I made a video about that, saying this team right here, they're finding a way, especially that defense that day when your offense is not doing great, going 4 and out at times, missing field goals. Jake Elliott missing 2 early field goals in that game against Washington at the beginning of the season. At home, Thursday night, right? I was thinking to myself, things are not going good on offense, but complimentary football, man. Defense getting some huge stops. We got to talk about the Eagles' star linebacker, Zach Bond, man. What a year he's had. I remember him still getting that huge 4th down stop against Washington earlier this year, and I'm thinking right there, this team is showing a little bit of character, And then they get another, then they start stacking up some quality wins throughout the year. Big time win against the Rams, right? Saquon Barkley shooting to the moon with those huge touchdown runs, man. Just major touchdown runs. And they're showing character. Obviously, they lose that game against Washington. It is what it is, right? But going into this playoffs, the last 2 weeks, no Jalen Hurts. You were expecting to start off this playoffs with a little sloppy. I'm a Jalen Hurts believer, man. He came from Oklahoma. I'm a big Oklahoma guy, so I have a little bit more of a soft spot for him. But what a overall impressive last 2 games. First 2 games, you did enough to win. That's what championship teams do, by the way. They didn't get lucky. Championship teams do enough to win. They're there to win, not to dominate, sadly, right? But they do just enough to win. And they showed up an elite performance in the NFC Championship game, and now they get into this game, man. Let's get into this game. Going up against the Chiefs, you lost to them 2 years ago in 2022 in really disappointing fashion. Your defense didn't show up at all. Your defense completely didn't show up. And now, your defense comes through, puts in a dominant game. Dominance, man. Oh my God. Early in the game, man, they had A.J. Brown with a poor passing interference call, offensive passing interference call. You thought the refs were already helping against the Kansas City Chiefs. The refs couldn't help them out that long. There's only so much the referees could do. That belt was waiting. That gold belt was waiting for the Chiefs, man. And it was given to them throughout the entire game. An absolute thrashing. I thought the Chiefs did a great job of stopping the ball, but we're talking about the Eagles right now, man. I thought in terms of pass protection, they were excellent. I thought Jalen Hurts was making some really good decisions outside of that. Really poor. He had really 2 poor throws in the first half. One of them was an interception, right? Just underthrown ball. It needs to be to a far right corner of the end zone, giving your receiver at least an opportunity to make a play, but it was poor. Yes, he was getting pressured from the interior, from the A gap. A really poor job by their center, not picking up an obvious blitz. He looked confused towards his right guard, saying, I was supposed to pick him up. Yes, you're supposed to pick him up. A lot of times, whenever somebody hits the A gap, right, as a center, that's probably your job, man. So that probably made Jalen Hurts somewhat throw an underwhelming ball, especially an underthrown ball in general. But then we get into the later one where I believe it was a go route to AJ Brown, just a poorly thrown ball, man. They didn't give him an opportunity to make a play on it. I think he got a step too. He had a step on the DB. So those were some earlier disappointing moments from Jalen Hurts, but outside of that, I thought he was very good this game. Really good decision making. I thought the running was excellent. He made some really good out of pocket decision making, and what a performance he put in. I thought the receivers did very good. Devontae Smith looked great. AJ Brown definitely looked great, looked dominant throughout the majority of this game. Saquon Barkley didn't do as much, but it doesn't matter, you know? It doesn't matter how much he does, because at the end of the day, what matters is not the offense. It's just damn defense, baby. And this defense, to me, just wow. Seeing it last year, right? Absolutely blew my mind. Seeing 2 years ago how they're absolutely thoroughly dominated. Let's not get it messed up. They were moved to. Okay. I thought it was going to be somewhat of the same. I didn't think it was going to be somewhat of the same, but seeing how easily Washington was able to move the ball against them, I had, in my prediction, I had them scoring about me. I think it was 27 points. That's what was in my mind, at least 27 points. I think they're going to get their touchdowns off. I think they have a decent enough I think they have a good enough offensive line, man. I think this was an anomaly, but I thought their offensive line was good enough to block this interior line by the Eagles. I knew they were going to get pressure, but not to this extent. I thought they had some advantages in terms of their receivers getting really good advantages. I thought the receivers had some really good opportunities against those DBs. Yes, they've been good majority of the year. However, it's another opportunity for them to get tested. And I think the Chiefs receiving core is very good. Travis Kelce, we're going to see how he plays this game, I didn't have huge expectations, but it's a Super Bowl. He shows up for big time games. And obviously you have Patrick Mahomes at the helm, and you have two solid running backs. But boy, the beating the Eagles put on them. And we just got to get to this defensive line. The level of pressure they were getting on him consistently. Just getting pressure, man. I thought they did an excellent job of stopping the run early on. Like, their ability to just stop the run, make those 1st and 10s, 2nd and 11s. If they try to go back to the run 3rd and 9s, giving them at most 2 yards every single run. I thought that was just so impressive, man. It was a showing of character. Guys, especially in that interior, Jalen Carter, Davis, number 93. My apologies for not knowing his name, but it just didn't pop into my mind. But that guy, man, what a great game he had too. That defensive line, interiorly especially, did an excellent job of holding up, being physical. Nolan Smith, guys really showed up and balled out this game, and very impressive game from this defensive line. Josh Sweat, how could I forget about my Super Bowl MVP? He was excellent, man. What a great performance from this defensive line, and I thought their ability to stop the run obviously was excellent, right? But we got to get their ability to get after the quarterback, man. When you get to getting these big time rush stops, early on, and forcing a 3rd and 12, a 3rd and 11, a 3rd and 9, around after at least 3rd and 8 plus, you get to tee back and just shoot at the quarterback. And they did a great job getting him on the ground. I thought their stunts were really good. I thought they didn't even have to freaking send a blitz at him, man. They literally didn't have to send a blitz at him. They were just generating so much quality pressure, and I love the hits they were getting on the offensive line, the pressure they were generating. I thought every single one of them on that defensive line did their job and showed up this game. They were the reason, obviously, why the Eagles won. But to me, they established a sign of dominance in the trenches that I don't think the offensive line, at least for the Eagles, did the same. I thought the Eagles' defensive line clearly showed them, we're here to play. We're going to get after your quarterback. He's not going to be sitting in the pocket, getting to cross over a couple of guys, running for a first down like it's nothing, just jogging into that. No, having all the time in the world to freaking throw a check down to a guy that's 15 yards wide open. Hell no. We're going to be teeing back and getting at him. I remember, I think it was the 4th quarter, and they're at the 45 of Kansas City, right? And Patrick Mahomes, I think it was around there. Patrick Mahomes steps up into that pocket, and we all know the strip sack. The strip sack, they get a huge hit on him right after. Jalen Carter pushes him 2 hands into the face. I thought, when I saw him step up into that pocket, I'm like, wow, okay, he's going to let this ball go. And then he just gets smacked in the face. And I just started laughing, man. Like, that right there is a depiction of what this Super Bowl was. An absolute butt whooping. Any sort of potential hope that Kansas City had, they just got it knocked out of them, man. The Eagles came through, they just punched it right through them, broke them down, broke their hearts. If you were to see the sideline, especially when, they were shooting at the offensive line, and Travis Kelce didn't even know what to say. The guys were just heads down, looking tired, and realizing they're going to have to get back on that damn field and go play against those dogs, you saw the defensive line for the Eagles, every single sack, every single pressure, every single time they got to him, smacking on the helmets, getting turned, getting lit, doing their thing. I don't even know what to say about the linebackers for the Eagles. They're really good, right? But it's so hard to properly judge. It's so hard to properly assess them when your defensive line's balling the hell out. Like, they're balling out. They're generating so much pressure. It's no different than the corners. I thought the corner play was excellent. I thought Cooper DeJean was great. Quinion Mitchell was great. Darius Slay was great, you know. I believe number 29, he got a huge pass block on DeAndre Hopkins. Poor pass by Patrick Mahomes. We're going to get to him later on in this video, but they showed so much quality, man. So much quality on that defensive side of the ball, and they deserve it. This whole team deserves it. I think that this is a perfect showing of what the Eagles are. Last year, shocking breakdown. This year, shocking turn up, man. And we were expecting, obviously, them going against Detroit. They went against Washington, took care of business against Kansas City Chiefs, thoroughly showing we are the best team in football, period. There's no other team you can tell me that can go up against Kansas City Chiefs and absolutely blow them out and beat them down and tell them you're not on our level, man. I feel bad for all the Kansas City fans that went to the stadium, paid those egregious prices, $1,300 plus I saw on the screen, ridiculous, just to get a thorough beat down. You thought you were going to do a 3P, man. I thought potentially, I didn't want to question them because, you know, they're the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been here twice, they've done it twice, but boy, this is such a poor showing of who they are. And I'm going to get to that right now, man. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs right now, could this game be any worse? Guys not showing up to play. Coaches underwhelming, man. I thought the offense was so unprepared. I thought especially the offensive line, for how talented this offensive line is. I think they're good. I think they're a really good offensive line. I think they're a top 10 offensive line in the NFL. You made them look like a bottom 3 NFL offensive line, and that speaks to the level of pressure they're able to generate. But we got to get back to these Chiefs, man. I didn't think that they came here ready for the physicality, ready for the fight. I think that they really believed that they were owed a Super Bowl. Another team wouldn't show up and take it to them. The game was going to just sit there, wait for them, and allow them to catch up. No. If you let the Kansas City Chiefs stick into a game, they'll find a way to climb back and win it. But the Eagles had they were not interested in that at all. They wanted to just stomp them into the ground. And this is a really embarrassing Super Bowl loss, man. This is really embarrassing, man. This is something that could plague them for years to come. You know, we talk about Super Bowl, we talk about championship DNA. Boy. This DNA was rinsed right out of you, man. Rinsed right out of you. Now they're back to 0 to me. Yes, in the 6-7 years, you won about 3 Super Bowls. You've been to 5, which is major. But this right here, man, this beatdown, at least the last one you lost, I could say your offensive line was injured. 2 of your, I think the left tackle and left guard injured. One of them tore their ACL. I think it was Eric Fisher. But this right here, absolutely unacceptable. And they're going to run it back like they should. But boy, man, this is such a disappointing loss, and guys did not show up to play. I really believe they thought they were owed a Super Bowl. They thought they were by far the best team in the NFL. This team thought they would be given greatness. You have to understand, this is the NFL. This ain't soccer, where teams sometimes bend over to better teams. This ain't basketball, where similar things happen. No, it's just one game. So much of this game depends on physicality, guys being physical, hitting each other, who wants it more. And one team clearly showed you for the majority of this game who wanted it more. You had the first quarter to get this offensive line together. You couldn't. Second quarter, you had the offensive line. You had an opportunity to get the offensive line together. You couldn't. You know, you talk about the third quarter, man. Still, when they get onto the field, man, they get one first down and then they go out. What the hell am I looking at, man? It's Patrick Mahomes with some really poor decision making, right? Missing some very easy throws. DeAndre Hopkins' throw to me was late. When it was I think it was 4th and 5, something of that nature, right? And they were in the Eagles' territory, maybe 3rd or 4th quarter. I forgot, to be honest, because it was such a damn blowout. I don't need to remember it. But some really poor throws. The Travis Kelce throw, 3rd and 3, missing 3rd and 4, missing it. An easy, just check down throw, missing the basics. I thought he didn't look good either. He didn't show up to play either. It's not just his offensive line. I didn't think he showed up to play. And a lot to be questioned about, a lot to be wondered. And if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, man, this is really sour. This is a really sour feeling, because this could be the last time you go to a Super Bowl in some time. You never know when you stop going to Super Bowls. Right now, you're at the top of the hill. The moment you get off that top of the hill, you know this. If you're a Kansas City fan, at least for longer than 6 damn years, right? You know how long you waited, how many times you were in the divisional rounds getting bounced out. Sometimes you pushed a little bit farther, you got bounced out. You never had an opportunity to get into the championship for years, man. How sad those 2015, 2014, 2013, 2012, 2011, 2010 teams were, right? Some of them having high expectations, but not being able to go and take that next step. You have an opportunity right now to refresh it and to avoid that potential collapse, grasp that. And a lot of problems looking up right now because they got a lot of guys they need to pay. The Eagles have a lot of money spent on this offense, and they have the 8th total cap allocation. They have a decent amount of money to work with. I would definitely say on defense, they have a lot of their rookie contracts coming up maybe in a year or 2 years, right? You have time to worry about it. You still have a championship roster right now. Keep it together and make a push into next year. There's going to be some guys you have to pay. Zach Bond, you're going to have to pay him. So you're going to have to figure that out if you want to let him go or if you want to keep him, because there's going to be a lot of people vying for his services. And a lot of other quality guys, right? Darius Slay, I think he's on his last year. You're going to have to find a way to somewhat keep him, a veteran presence with those young DBs. And he played pretty damn good for you this season, right? Outside of that, if you're the Eagles, keep it together, man. It's quite simple. Like, why ruin something that's went so good for you this year, right? You had an overall really good record. I think you finished off, 17-3? Something like that. 17-3, I believe so. Keep pushing, man. Keep it damn pushing. Now, if you're the Chiefs, you have the 11th total allocation next year. Just, you got some guys coming up in terms of contracts. You can figure that out. I mean, you're the Kansas City Chiefs. Your development's great. Your ability to scout talent's very good. You'll figure it out. But outside of that, if you're the Chiefs, do not let this blowout loss be the end of your dynasty. And if you're the Eagles, make sure this blowout win is the start of your damn dynasty. Anyways, that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe. Take care. Peace.